over to my personal blog, timeishoney.com, and I'm going to use this recipe I did a couple weeks ago for holiday fruit cups to kind of use as an example for how to create this image, why you want to use the images like this, and how to put them into your posts. So something that's become popular on Pinterest over the past year or two are these long vertical images that kind of highlight your blog post. They display really well on Pinterest. They tend to catch a pinner's eye, and you usually see these type of images being repinned more. Very briefly, to create this, you just create a canvas that is roughly a ratio of 3:1, and then add your images, colors, and text over the top of that to put it together as this one big image. You save it as a JPEG file. If you're interested in a step-by-step tutorial for how to put this together and create this, leave your request in the comments or send us a tweet, and that's something we could put together for you. So you want to put together the optimized image, which is nice, long, and vertical. Save it as a JPEG, and then you're going to be working in your blog editor. And for me, I use WordPress, so that's where I will be working. You can see that I already have the post ready to go, obviously, because this one has already been published. So I have my top photo, which is also very pinnable. It's a nice long vertical image, has the recipe name over the photo. I have the ingredients, the directions, and another horizontal image, which these usually don't display that well on Pinterest. And so what I want to do is I want to bring this image into the blog post in a way that when somebody's on my site and adding this post to their Pinterest board, they get this image as an option, as something to pin. So like I said, you have two options here. Basically, the options are to add that image into the post in a way that isn't too aesthetically unpleasing. The second option is to add that image into the code so that it would be pulled as an option for pinning, but wouldn't be displaying on your website. Obviously, the first image is to maybe just use that long vertical image as your main featured image in your blog post, which is fine. The only issue with that is that then you kind of get really, really long blog posts all over. And so most people tend to want to break up the text and images by spreading the images out throughout the blog post. And generally that's more appealing from an aesthetic standpoint. And so one option that you have to add this in is to go into your blog post. I already have the image added. Add the image into the bottom of the post. You can center it so that it displays better when you are in preview mode. So here, this is down at the bottom now. So it shows up, my pin it button shows up over the top of it, just like with my other images. It's centered, it's at the bottom, so it's not totally in the way. However, let's go ahead and update this. If you were on my home page and I had added the image in that way, when you scroll down to that blog post, there's going to be this big long image there that you have to scroll past, and it's not very pleasing to the eye. It's kind of annoying. It's not the worst thing that ever happened, but an easy way to fix that, just to have it hidden on your homepage, is to just go in and add a read more tag. And that's just this button here. You just put your cursor up above the image, hit that, and it adds it automatically for you. When you update then, the way this will now display is that as you are scrolling down your blog, when you get down to this post, it'll actually hide that long image, and instead there will be a read more tag. And so that would only display when someone has clicked through and is on the direct URL for that blog post. So once they're on the post's actual page, that optimized image will show up. So this is great because, like I said, your customized pin it button shows up for it. It also works great for people who use the in-browser pin it button because that pulls all of the images off the page. And so it also shows up there. And so in this example, you're getting this image into the hands of any pinners that use either in-browser or your own pin it button. So That's that option. It's super simple. If that doesn't appeal to you, there's one other option that I'm going to walk you through. And this option hides the optimized pin image within the blog post. So to do that, we're going to go in, we're going to go ahead and delete the read more tag. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into the HTML view and find the code for this image. So what you do is you switch from visual over to text. You scroll down and you're going to find the snippet of code that represents that image. And here's that snippet of code. What you're looking for here is the little snippet that says IMG class. And you're going to put your cursor in there and you're just going to add a little snippet of code that basically makes this image invisible on the page. Oops. Okay, so what you did is you went in there and added this little snippet here. So you went in before IMG class, and then you're going to type in this snippet of code here. Then you're going to go to the end of it, and you're going to close it out with this little snippet of code. And now what we want to happen is when we switch back over to the visual editor, we want that image to no longer be displaying. So you can see now it's gone. And so we're going to go ahead and update that post. And I'm going to go over here and refresh it. And so now you'll see that that image is now gone from the blog post, so it's not displaying. So it's not going to show up when someone's here reading the blog post, but if somebody goes up and uses the in-browser pin it button, it's still going to populate because it's coded into that post. And so this is kind of a great way to just hide those kind of images. They are there, they exist, people can use them, but it's hidden. You don't have to worry about how it looks or displays or clutters up your website. The only downside here is that for pinners who don't have the in-browser pin it button, which those people do exist, they're only going to see the two images that you have in the blog post. So there you have it. There's the two quick ways to hide optimized pin it images into your blog post.